Hello and welcome. I'm Helen Cummins and this is Mallorca Living, a video podcast dedicated to those who are dreaming about living and making business here in Mallorca. Today I'm joined by Nahomie Jean Louis from Miami, and we're going to hear about her fascinating journey to Mallorca. Let's dive in. Nahomie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you once again for having me here. I just want to say thank you, by the way, for the first article from Slow Living.
Before we go to that, actually, it would be lovely to go back and maybe trace how we actually met.
Sure, and how we got to that article.
Yes, exactly, how we got to meet the first time.
Sure.
So you had moved to Mallorca, but you were interested in joining a community, right?
I was.
A business community.
Yes.
And you were receiving our newsletters, I guess.
I did. I signed up for your newsletter. I started researching Mallorca, and ABC Mallorca had basically most of the resources I was looking for, as far as very detailed information about the town's restaurant, lifestyle. And I stumbled upon the Slow Living edition 2022, and I thought, okay, this is the lifestyle that I want. It was very complete, so well done. And I reached out to you guys for real estate, and everyone was so helpful. And yeah, that was the magazine that inspired me to really move here.
Wow. And I have to say, you moved to Mallorca without ever having put your foot on the island.
I know.
How did that happen?
Well, I know I had a longing and a desire for softness and to slow down. And
which isn't so common in your, what age group would you say, in your 20s?
32?
32?
31, 32 when I decided,
okay,
yeah, I would want to move here. But I've already done a lot. And in Miami, I was working at the law firm, and I had a business as well. And it was very fast-paced. And I had this really long desire to just like live softly, not having to work so hard, especially as a young woman. I thought, why do I have to work so hard?
Were you not the one driving the pressure to have your own business?
I did.
Plus a profession?
Yeah, I did. And once I accomplished all of that, I thought, I think I'd rather live slowly, like one job is enough. As if I'm comfortable, that's what matters.
Did you feel tired?
I felt exhausted.
Exhausted. Like burnout, kind of?
Yeah, I used to cry from being exhausted.
Wow.
Yeah, like I just had no idea how else to express it, and I would just cry.
So what would be a typical week for you when you were living in Miami? Before you made the decision to move, what would have been a typical work week? Were you doing 70, 80 hours work?
I would, yeah, probably very close to that. I would dedicate 2 hours a day for self-care. Like I would go on a run, go to the gym, get back home, go to my cafe. I had a cafe in South Beach, near Lincoln Road, which is
I love South Beach.
Yeah, so
beautiful.
It's a very highly populated area, and I could be there easily for 14 hours in a day. And if I had any private cases from clients, like legal cases, I would work on them while I'm there.
Did you have your own practice?
No.
Legal? No, you were working in a firm.
I worked at a firm, and I had the ability to take some cases and work at home, not having to be at the law firm. And immigration law is probably one of the most complex, forever changing, law to practice. So that already was a lot of pressure.
That's my
specialty.
Yes. Is immigration law.
Yes, U.S. immigration law. So then I already had a lot of pressure from clients reuniting families or families separating, filing appeals in order for them to remain in the US. So a lot fell on me already at that time. And with the pressure of this business in South Beach, and I felt like a little girl in South Beach because everyone had so much experience, and I was just starting for the first time, not really knowing, but it was working out. But we had rules to follow on Lincoln Road. We had to stay open for a number of hours, and I think that really burnt me out because I almost felt as if I did own the business, but I had to follow the rules. I don't want to be open for 14 hours a day, but yet someone had to do it. And because of that, I started experiencing health issues, burnout, high blood pressure. And I went...
And at 30, 32, this isn't so great, no?
Right. And I went to the doctor for high blood pressure once because I had a series of like migraines and headaches. And she said, well, you're super fit, you're very young, you need to change your lifestyle. She said, if you keep going like this, you'll end up with a heart attack.
Oh my gosh.
And when she said those words to me, it really stuck. And this is when I started imagining, okay, how can I live my life differently? Because this is so unnecessary. And it was one trip to Europe that summer. And I thought, yeah, this is how we should be living life. Like, we need to take vacations. We need to take time off. We need to live a little bit slowly, which is also how I grew up. And I thought, okay, Europe it is, and then Spain.
So that was really your decision to move out of America. You felt if you stay in America, you would continue with the same grind, the same pace, let's say.
Yeah, it's kind of like a never-ending, cycle. And I also remember seeing it from some of my friends. I have older friends who are very successful. And at this time, we would spend a lot of time together, going to happy hours, like almost every day, because this is what you do after work. And, but it was the same lifestyle. But at this point, they're in their 50s. Okay, fine, you live in a beautiful penthouse, like you can do whatever you want, but you can't stop working. Like health insurance is so expensive. The lifestyle is so expensive. The rent. I lived in downtown, Brickell area. So, it's
So in order to maintain this incredible lifestyle, you got to keep fueling it.
You have to keep fueling it.
You got to keep on the track.
Yeah, different sources of income, and I just thought I worked hard enough, and I still deserve a better life, and I could probably achieve that somewhere else. And that was like the beginning of where can I move. And
do you think your values were changing? Because I know in America, it's very like your financial wealth and well-being is very much related to your success in life.
Absolutely.
Did you feel that you were looking for a different kind of value system?
I believe so. Especially coming from a place like Miami that's very superficial, and most specifically in the area where I lived as well. The focus and attention is about what you do for a living, where you live, what kind of car you drive, who do you know. And since I grew up there, like I went to university there, became an adult there, like I got married there, lived there, it kind of got tiring after a while because I was looking for a deeper connection with myself and with other people. It's like people are your friends because of who you know or because of what you can do. Nothing felt solid. So yes, values started changing.
I find it really fascinating that you had the feeling that you couldn't change your life within that environment. You had to escape the environment in order to change your life.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
And I still believe that, which is how Bloom came about, because I thought people need to come out of their environment every once in a while so they can kind of see things from the outside.
Yeah.
And once I settled here, the first 3 months were very transformative.
But before we go into that, I
Yes.
would love to, why Mallorca? I have to ask you, why Mallorca?
To be honest with you, now I am realizing why. But at the time I chose Mallorca, I wasn't really sure why. I felt such a strong pull towards the island.
Having never been here.
Having never been here. I mean, I've only seen pictures and I've read, like your magazines, and that was...
But you had been to Spain, right?
I had been to Spain.
You studied, if I remember
Yes.
correctly, for a
Yes.
semester in...
I did 1 year, like a
1
full
year.
degree.
In Madrid.
Yes.
Right. And you speak Spanish?
Yeah.
I
Más o menos. Más o menos.
Okay, muy bien. Super. So you had exposure, you had experienced the Spanish lifestyle in Madrid.
I have.
But your calling was not to go back to Madrid. It was
I wanted to be
Mallorca.
away. And I felt like Mallorca was away. I had a sensation that this is a place that I wanted to be, like based on the nature and what I've read about it. How there's like a portal of energy here.
Right.
And yeah, so I felt a calling to be here on the island.
I know, and what's incredible is you didn't decide to live in this capital of Palma as a young woman who's kind of used to a city life and a lot of glamour and parties and events and everything. You chose to live
Son Serra
de Marina, which is a very small coastal town with a beautiful beach.
Right.
In the north of the island.
Right.
But quite a distance.
It is quite a distance
Palma
from,
and so on.
Yeah, quite a distance. I love Son Serra, and I think it's exactly what I needed. Once I got there, I thought, yeah, this is what I needed, because here I can really tune out and focus on myself. And I told someone recently the same story, because they said, why Son Serra? Like why are you not living
It's
in
not
Palma?
a common place
Right.
to choose. And even many people have a second home. Many people who live in Mallorca have a second home
In Son
Son Serra, and they use it just in summer.
Yeah.
But you live there now all year round.
All year, and I love it.
Which is so incredible, because it's by far not the norm.
It's not the norm. But I thought it is the perfect place for me to discover myself, because I mean, I lived at home with my parents and my siblings, and then I got married and I lived with my husband, and then got divorced, lived in the same apartment, and then I moved here by myself for the first time. So it was a big deal for me to have my own space away from what I'm used to. I didn't want to leave the city of Miami and come back to another city. And yeah, once I got here, I was loving it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like my own space. Like no one dirties anything.
So you rented initially, if I remember correctly, and then you decided you wanted to buy a home and make it more permanent in Son Serra de Marina.
Yes. So after 3 months, I moved into a beautiful home, which was a dream for me, because in Miami, I could not ever, I don't know, maybe one day when I'm in my 50s or 60s, like living in a, like house, like a big house.
To afford a house like this.
Yeah, with like sea views and terrace and everything. So yeah, that was a bold statement as well, as far as, okay, like I want to make this place home. I want to call this place home.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've continued to work, right?
Yes.
And you're connected to a law firm still in the US?
Yes, I'm connected to a law firm in the US, and I'm envisioning myself, hopefully in the next year, to disconnect completely from that. But now I am setting a foundation here as well, as far as work is concerned. And I would like to transition to fully work here
fully
instead.
work and live. But
Right.
you know, it's not a bad thing to actually earn your living in the US
It's a
and to
great thing.
live in Mallorca,
It's a
because the
great thing.
cost of, like, for the earning power you have in the States and the cost of living here is just, you can live extremely well here,
I
right?
know. And I think that's one of the things that facilitated everything that has happened so far. Like, for me to be able to live here as comfortable as I am is because of this job. I think I will always have an income coming from the US. That's ideally, this is how I would like it to be. But I would like to be disconnected from a law firm. Like, I don't want to.
You don't really want to continue with your profession as a lawyer in the field of immigration?
I think I would just stick to private clients. Yeah, like take cases here and there and not having to dedicate 8 hours a day staring at my laptop.
Okay. And how does it work with the time difference?
So I typically start work around 4.
In the morning?
No, p.m.
Oh,
Like in
4
the evening.
p.m., sorry.
Yes, until 11. But I
Okay.
have all day, really. Yeah, and then I take a nap, and then it's like I have another day.
Okay.
I always tell my parents, it's like by the time you wake up, I've already had one day. I'm starting my second day.
Great. So you get to live 24 hours.
Exactly.
A full 24 hours. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Great. So tell us about your entrepreneurial drive. I'm a little bit fascinated about this because you mentioned that you had a business as well as a career in Miami. What do you think is the driving force in you to be an entrepreneur?
I grew up from like an entrepreneurial family.
You come from an entrepreneurial family.
Yes. I'm 35 now. I've never seen my dad work for anyone a day of my life.
What does your dad do?
So he owns, it's an auto parts factory in Haiti where they rebuild car parts and also distributes to smaller auto parts around the country. And yeah, I grew up from that. And that is what he loved doing, things related to cars. And that is what that was the foundation of, like, financial foundation for our family. It allowed us to do everything that we've ever wanted to do. And I started working pretty young. I was 16 when I got my first job because I just love to be independent and not having to ask dad for an allowance to go do something. So at 16, I started working. And I started realizing, oh, working is never going to afford me the lifestyle that my parents provided. Yeah, I realized that very early on. Oh, this is how much the jobs pay. Okay, yeah, this is not going to work out. So I opened my first business at 19.
Wow, what was that?
It's a day spa, and it's still opened.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still running.
It's still running.
But you sold it, obviously. You set it up and sold it.
It's being rented. It's being leased, and my parents are now selling the whole building where it's located because they own it. And yeah, so 19 years old, I started my first business. Definitely learned a lot. I was very young, but it worked out. I mean, it survived so many years to the point where someone else wanted to lease it.
That's
so
beautiful.
yeah,
That's great.
and
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that's
longevity
how it
of a business is probably one of the biggest challenges.
It is. But I'm also very grateful for, the path that the foundation that they set out for me, because obviously if I had to rent out a space to do this business by myself, it would have been a lot more complicated. So they had the space, it wasn't being used. And I told my dad, and he said, sure, go for it.
So that was your first. What was your next business? And
that was my first business. And And then from 19 on, I was very busy studying, even though the business was running, and it paid for my studies in Madrid because my dad said, "You're not going to Madrid.
Okay.
I'm not paying for it." And I said, "Well, fine, I'll pay for it." So I was very happy that the business was able to pay for like a full year of studies in Madrid. And then, of course, they supported me. And my next business was the cafe.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a kosher boutique bakery in South Beach, but like in a very like highly Jewish populated area. And it was so nicely done, and it attracted so many people. But the Jewish people were so thankful that a non-Jewish person did a non-kosher bakery that looked so pretty. And I received an overwhelming amount of support. Like the mayor was there the first day I opened. Yeah, so that was my second business, and that was like a real big deal. Yeah.
I would love to ask you to do a favor for me. Mallorca Living is a video podcast dedicated to those who are dreaming of making a life for themselves here on Mallorca. This is a very personal project for me where I get to share with you wonderful stories about people who have actually made the transition to Mallorca. I would love to ask you to subscribe to this channel because it helps the channel grow and it makes sure that we continue to grow and prosper and reach as many people as possible who are interested in making Mallorca their home. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking and sharing your comments. We love to hear your thoughts and your feedback. Thank you so much. So you moved here and then you set about setting up your business Bloom.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that.
So then I moved here, and obviously if you live in Mallorca, your friends will often come visit. And some of my friends started visiting, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this is how you live. Like, you're never coming back." And I'm like, "No, I'm not coming back." And they were like, "Wow, it's so nice how you showed us around the island and we weren't running around into places." And one of my friends said, "You should consider hosting, or I don't know, some sort." Like, it was very casual conversation. And I thought, yeah, but I don't know. Like, having people over it's a lot. And I thought of
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, yeah. And so I spent the first 3 months really being alone and spending time with myself. And that's when I realized, yeah, I could never go through this transformation if I stayed in Miami. And I started thinking about all of the other women in corporate America or in different jobs, business women that are working tirelessly around the clock. They never get to really step out of it to see things from a different perspective. And I thought, well, in that case, I can do something about it. And the idea of Bloom came from that very thought. And I started thinking, okay, I'll do like a retreat, and I'll target other women like me. And I started an Instagram page, and people started following the page, and hosted the first retreat, super casual. The rules were like ridiculous, like no alarms, 0 alarms. Like, you don't get to wake up with an alarm because we're so mechanical in corporate America. And like no alarm, like minimal cell phone use, walks in nature, journaling, these things that are now, you and I live this way. It's part of life here. But it's not for many people, right? So then I thought,
So really, you're getting them to stop, kind of just take a break.
Yeah, and I did this at home.
Maybe start connecting with themselves
Exactly.
a little bit better.
And when I started connecting within myself and started getting to know myself better in a very short period of time that I was here, I kind of wanted everybody else to experience that. So I started hosting these retreats at home. Like I would select people because I'm like, okay, we don't want any weirdos popping in here because I'm just down the hallway. But yeah, so I wanted to share that slow living lifestyle with people. And I've met people through Bloom, people who've reached out, especially after that article.
Oh, right.
So many people have reached out. One person actually moved.
Wow, they moved here after reading the article. Yeah, just for our listeners, just to say that Nahomie was our cover star for the Slow Living in 2023.
Yes.
And we just met at the open house.
We did.
And then from the open house, we got to
connected,
chat. And I asked you about doing an article. And then from there, you were on the cover. So it was great for us to have.
It was great for me too, in a way, because I started wondering the purpose behind some of the things that I'm doing. And every time someone reached out, they would use the word inspire. Oh, we've read your story and you inspired me to take a leap, to move, or to start a business. So I'm very grateful for that article to be able to.
But I also have to say, I really admire you because to move to an island where you've never put your foot here, you didn't know anybody actually other than, I think you maybe had a kind of a feeling that, well, I know Helen because I'm on her website, as many people do. And from there, it gave you the confidence to embark on this solo journey to find and connect with yourself. So absolutely. I think it's amazing.
Thank
like
you.
That's brave. That takes courage to leave what was quite a comfortable life where you were.
It was comfortable. It's a little hectic, but it's comfortable. I lived the life that many people would wish they had.
Yes.
And yet I was ready to move away from it.
Move away. And that's my next topic. So we've already talked about the fact that you were quite, let's say, exhausted, burnt out with life in Miami. Has your new life, your new slow life, has it nourished you in the way that you were searching for at that moment?
Yes, I believe so. I think from being here on the island, it really forces you to slow down. Even if you thought, okay, I will slow down. But once you start doing things here, you realize, oh, okay.
Nothing's moving fast.
It's moving extremely slow. So, and it reflects in the way that I currently do business here. I see myself knowing when to stop. I'm listening to my body more. I listen to my intuition more. And I have different sets of boundaries that I didn't have before.
Like what?
Socializing is like one of them. Like I had no boundaries in Miami. Like I was socializing 24/7. Do you want to have drinks today? Sure. Tomorrow? Yes. It was constantly. And now that I'm building like this 1923 community there, I could kind of see how life could pick back up like super fast again. And I started, setting boundaries. No, these are the days that I reserve for myself. These are the days that I go on nature walks. This is how I stay grounded.
And I have to say, since I know you 2 years.
2 years.
You have lost so much weight from when I met you initially, but you were still so beautiful.
Thank you.
And now you walked in today and I was like, oh my gosh, look at you.
Thank you.
So you've also been focused a lot then on your self-care, as
Absolutely,
you say.
Yeah. When I moved here initially, I was super fit. And then 1 year, the first year, I ended up gaining like 15 kilos.
Wow.
My
With the food in Mallorca, no? The tapas and the eating late, probably.
I think also it was the change of lifestyle. I mean, I went to the gym every day. I was running every day. And as you know, there's no gyms or CrossFit in Son Serra de Marina. And the only thing that I did health-wise was going to the spa like once or twice a week. And in December, like after like 1 year, I said, okay, like this needs to stop, because I was overweight once before and I lost all the weight and I started seeing myself there again. And that kind of freaked me out. So I had to make a conscious decision to do something about it, watch what I eat, what I'm drinking, and start moving more. So I did a little bit of kickboxing. I picked up running again, hired a personal trainer, and I feel great.
Well done.
And
Congratulations.
happy. Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you. So yeah, that has been the healthy wellness lifestyle living, and I'm dedicating a lot more time to taking care of myself as well.
Good. So you mentioned the 1923 Botanic Project. Tell us about this, because when we talked last, it wasn't born yet.
It wasn't born.
It's a new baby.
It's a new baby. So living in Son Serra and coming from Miami with, it's like a party city and events. And although I am not for the party life anymore, I crave a little bit of action here and there.
Of course.
So, and this is funny because someone else said, what was the first thing that inspired you to like start the speakeasy? I remember looking at all my heels and I thought, where will I ever wear them again?
I know, I'm the same. I have a whole wardrobe full of like really nice high shoes,
Right.
and we don't wear them anymore.
I can't go all the way to Palma every time to have a drink or something. And I thought, oh, that's what's missing here. Then I started thinking, yeah, we're missing like a nice jazz speakeasy after hours club.
In
that area, like between Son Serra and Colonia and
Colonia Semper.
Yeah. And at first I thought, oh, I could probably just start something small at home and invite some people and we dress up. And then I was like, do I really want people to use my restroom at home? No. So maybe we need to find a place. And I thought, yeah, so maybe we'll find a place. And I remember looking at commercial real estate for lease, and I stumbled upon this existing bar. And I looked at the price, and I was like, that can't be.
In Colonia Semper.
Yeah, I was like, that can't be real.
Which is not a really happening place.
It's not happening at all.
It's really sleepy place.
I know. And I wanted it to be in a sleepy place because I was sure people felt the same way I did.
Of course.
And so we
you leased it?
I called my dad and I was like, oh, I found this place. He's like, how much is it? 1,200. How big is it? It's like over 150 square meters. He was like, just go see it. I was like, it's probably a scam. He said, just go see it. Went to see it. And I was like, yeah. I was like, okay, like.
And it had a license.
It had a bar license.
Oh,
and I thought, perfect. I took the place. It looked horrible. It smelled bad. I was afraid to look at the bathroom. I was like, please send me the pictures. Signed the lease and never went back for 3 or 4 months.
Really?
While they were demolishing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had builders and you had people to deal with all this.
So it took 1 year to make it look...
You see, you need patience in Mallorca.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be 3 months.
Of course you did. But now you know better.
Now I know better. It took a year to build out the place in a way that was operational.
And did you come up with the decor and everything?
I did, which was very risky and scary at the same time. Scary because I'm not an interior designer, and many times I thought, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? Like, but it was like my blank canvas.
Of course.
Yeah, and it was basically a way for me to be creative, to do something that's very close to me, something that I would appreciate. It's like my living room. And in November of 2024, I hosted my first event.
Well done.
And
That's wonderful.
thank you. And we had 40 people.
From the village?
No.
Oh.
So
right.
it's private.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not open to the public. And people had to submit an application, but because it took so long to build out.
So it's more like a club, actually.
It's a club.
It's more like a private club.
It's a private club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And because it took so long to renovate the space, everyone was already talking about it.
Okay.
Oh, there's a girl from Miami who's opening something, and everyone is like, when is this place opening? So a lot of people already knew something was coming.
They were
and
anticipating.
They were excited. And right off the back, I started with this idea of like a jazzy place, like speakeasy, super dark, woodsy, like New York City loft kind of style. And everyone's reaction is exactly, it's more than what I expected. People walk in and they say, how can I be a part of this place? This place is amazing. I didn't think a place like this existed here. And
in all of Mallorca, not to joke, Colonia San Fair.
Yeah.
Everybody listening will be with their map of Mallorca trying to figure out where's Son Serra. Never heard of there.
Never heard of it.
Where's Colonia San Fair? Never heard of it.
Yeah. And January 18th, I hosted a jam session, and we had 130 people.
Wow, congratulations.
And I was so overwhelmed, like with joy and like freaking out at the same time. Like I did not expect so many people so fast.
What?
Yeah, it's been a ride.
Great.
Yeah.
And do people pay to be a member of the group? Okay.
Yeah, people pay. It's so affordable. I'm more selective on who becomes a part of this community. But so far, we have people from South Africa, from Italy, and friends, and Americans, and a lot of Germans, of course, because we're in Mallorca.
And Spanish? Mallorquin?
Very little. Maybe 2.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 2 that I could think of from the top of my head. And no one really from the village.
Right.
Yeah. People are coming.
But maybe they take a time. They're going to check it out.
They're going
to
see what happens.
keep an eye and see how it evolves.
Exactly.
So how are you hoping it will evolve?
I am hoping that the community continues to grow and that it sustains itself. My idea is not to just open a speakeasy bar where you can just have cocktails and drink, because you can do that anywhere. We don't have a lack of bars in Mallorca. My idea was to create these thought-provoking experiences where people get to step out of reality for a little bit. Like organizing the 1920s parties, and people really get into theme. I'm so shocked when I send all the rules and I'm like, make sure you follow the dress code. If not, I'm kicking you out. And people are always super dressed up. They look forward to it. And I get to create and come up with these experiences and ideas. So it's been nice having the ability to found like my own community here.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And you're providing us something that wasn't existing already.
Yeah.
So that's really great.
Thank you.
One question before we finish.
Sure.
And I'm fascinated about this. We've already established you're definitely an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You're a risk taker. You don't sit down and think of all the reasons why not to do something.
Right.
If you see a good road ahead and a positive idea, you're going for it.
I go for it.
Why would you think to do this in Spain, and particularly Mallorca, versus in America, where obviously there's a very advanced and very supportive entrepreneurial market?
In terms of 1923?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I agree.
But just business in general, actually, not specifically that business, but just business in general as an entrepreneur.
I would say, as an American entrepreneur, I also feel an advantage of doing business here because the way I think is not the way other people are thinking. And the amount of work that I'm willing to put into it is also not what people are doing here. That's already like a very big advantage. In Miami, if you have one idea, there's already a million others thinking about it, how they can do it better, how they can market better. So the competition is very different. Yes, if I do something like this in Miami, it could potentially blow up, but the amount of work that I need to put into it, I think these were some of the reasons why I moved away from it. And here, I felt like it's still virgin territory in terms of business and what you can create here. There are still a lot of things that can happen on the island. And I'm grateful to be here and to be able to bring my expertise here as well. I've heard a lot of people asking, how long has this place been open? And when I tell them a couple of months, they're shocked. How is it packed? Where do you advertise? I'm like, I'm not advertising. I'm not advertising, but this is the way I built the business. I spoke to the right people. I wanted to do something different other than what everyone else is doing. Like, I put my heart and soul into it. And that's why I wanted to do it here, because I know how much competition I have over there. Mm-hmm. And here, I felt I had a big advantage because, and everything here is seasonal. I did not want to open a seasonal business. I thought I will open something year-round, not focus on tourism, but focus like on the people who are living on that side of the island.
Beautiful. Great. Well, I wish you a lot of continued success.
Thank you so much.
So before we finish, Nahomie, it's normal on our little podcast that we ask some quick-fire questions.
Sure.
I know the answer to some of these questions in advance for you. So, beach or mountains?
Beach.
I knew. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Summer heat or winter calm?
Winter calm.
Okay. Siesta or fiesta?
Oh, siesta.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
I thought you were a fiesta girl.
I cannot live without napping.
Okay. Pamboli or ensamada?
Pamboli.
And North Coast or South Coast?
North Coast.
Of course it's North Coast. That's where you chose to live. Now, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Likewise.
And hearing about your journey.
Thank you.
I wish you continued success on the island. And I look forward to seeing you a lot more.
Thank you.
I hope you'll come to some of our networking events and spread the word about your new community.
Absolutely.
And a lot of prosperity and good fortune to you
well,
for
thank
the future.
You for having me.
Thank you. If you are planning to move to Mallorca and would like some support and guidance in where to live on the island and buying a home here, we would love to help you make that transition to the island. Contact us today to organize a time that suits you for an online consultation. Thank you.